What's up, y'all? This is Henny. Listen, man, we're back and we're here for another one. So today I want to talk a little bit more about going live and trying to get the best out of going live. Over the last few videos, I've been talking about solutions for the things that we're in right now, right? These quarantine times of us trying to make virtual content and make it the best that we possibly can. And today I want to talk about an app called Ecamm Live. I know it's been out for a while, but for all of us that are trying to figure out the best ways to go online and go virtual when we're doing these live streams, this is another solution that might help a lot of people out there. Now, there are other options out there. You got OBS, you got places like StreamYard and other things that can do certain things when it comes to setting up your live stream to make it the best professional look that you possibly can. But for me, when I saw Ecamm Live and its ease and usability, I had to check it out. And the great thing about it is they're sponsoring today's episode.
Yay!
And on top of that, I'll be giving away a free 1-year subscription to their service to one of y'all in the comments. So, without further ado, let's talk about how we can do and take what this looks like right here to another level for you in your live streams. Let's go!
The business.
So what is something like Ecamm Live? Ecamm Live is one of those like all-in-one production situations for your Mac, specifically for your Mac. And I know that, you come to your boy, right? For most of the mobile tech, mobile ideas, how to do things without having to use your desktops, to have to use your laptops and Macs. But there are certain situations where you just got to go back. And these are one of the things that we still have to do on a desktop or on a laptop, on, something like a Macintosh to be able to do. And this Ecamm Live is specifically for the Mac. This is one of those platforms where once you get it set up, everything just starts to work seamless. And let me show you why you want to do certain things and how you get it set up. But first, let's talk about all the ways I have all of this set up to actually make this possible and what things am I using, so that you might be able to get an idea of how to get a live looking setup like this in these quarantine times. Roll it. First off, let's talk setup, right? Let's talk what I got going on right about now. Now, what you're seeing and what you're seeing on the screen is me having it fully set up and having multiple different things linked to Ecamm Live, right? I got my iPad right here. I got this plugged in. I got my phone, it's plugged in, and it's all plugged into my Mac Mini back there. And I have my Yamaha mixer, right, plugged in. I got this mic going right here. This mic is going directly to my mixer, and this mic is going so I can record this video. So I got a lot going on, but it can be very simpler for you. Now, I have my camera, my Fuji X-T3, and I'm actually using the kit lens right now. And I have that plugged in via HDMI to what they call a capture card. Excuse the wire situation, but yes, I'm using Elgato's Cam Link, which connects my X-T3, my Fuji X-T3, all the way into my 2020 Mac Mini. And so I have all of that connected to my Mac Mini, and let me show you what I got going on as far as lighting. As I talked about before, I have my whole production on this one little camera stand. You can check a link out to that and how I built that in a previous video. I have this light right here. This is the Younggoy Digital 363. And I just have that against a backdrop here. And I'll put all the links to everything to be able to get this going in the description. And yep, I am in my master bedroom. I have this all set up to be able to get me some quiet time away from everybody having to do work, everybody having to do school, and me be able to do these conferences and these YouTubes for y'all. Had to switch it up a little bit. Let's keep going. So why did I check out Ecamm Live? I've been using it for the last 3 or 4 weeks now, and I'm using it for my Zoom calls. I used it last week on the Online Creators Summit. I've been using it on the way I'm teaching my classes over there at Morehouse. It's just a great all-around situation where I'm able to plug up multiple devices and have them being shown on the screen so that I can really give tutorial, education, and really make my live streams more dynamic. Now, yes, there's software like OBS, and in the past I did use that. But for those who are trying to find a simple and convenient solution, even if it costs a membership, this is something you might want to check out. So I reached out to Ecamm and I asked them if if I could provide some memberships to those in my community. And so we got it all set up, and today's video is brought to you by them. So let's go and let me show you how this works. So when you load up Ecamm Live, you're going to see that you have a lot of things going on your screen when it comes to you setting up your live stream in the front end, right? Or in the back end. One of the two. So as you can see, I have my camera connected to a capture card. That's the cam link, the Elgato cam link that I showed you earlier, and it's routed to my Mac Mini. I also have my Yamaha AG03 mixer that I've been talking about. I have that plugged into my Mac Mini as well, and that has this mic right here. It has that mic right there plugged in. What I have also plugged in is, like I said before, I have my iPad plugged in. I actually have my iPhone plugged in. We'll talk a little bit about how all of this works. So when you set it up, it's going to show you all the different sources that you have. Right now I have my cam link right here that you can see right here. I have my iPhone, where you can see here, which I literally just plugged in directly into my Mac Mini, as well as my iPad here, where I can, scrub and show you all these things. These are all of my sources. So when I go to Cam Link, you're going to see that this is the look that I'm getting for using a camera like this Fuji X-T3. Fun fact, if you have a Canon camera, something like the M50, something like a camera I should not have let go of, you would be able to use that camera, like a Canon M50, any Canon camera that's probably over the last, 5 to 7 years. Don't quote me on that. But you'll be able to use their EOS utility and plug directly your camera into your computer using the USB, I believe, whatever USB signal that goes from your camera into your computer, and CamLink will automatically recognize it without having to use a capture card. So if you're somebody who has a Canon camera, you will be able to use that camera without the additional need of a capture card, and that just makes these things even more simple. Now that that's out of the way, I'm going to show you right here. I have all these different things that you're going to be able to work with in Ecamm Live. You got your scenes right here, right? The scenes are basically the different ways that you're able to display your scene on your live stream, right? Whether I'm doing like this, or I have something like that where, I'm showing off the iPad, but you can also see me. Whether I'm playing a file directly from my computer, right? Or, if you're having some type of intro or outro where you can bring in a timer, where you can bring in different things. All of these things are even an outro, right? Something like this. All of these are your scenes, and you're able to switch in and out of them with a click of a button, which makes it very, very simple. On the other side, you have your sound levels, right? It's telling me that I have my AG03, AG06, depending on whatever your interface is. It's going to show what your interface is, and that is allowing me to control the volume of this mic or anything else that's coming from my mixer or my interface. I also have my iPad 2018. You can see that where it can tell you that it will play through, so you'll be able to hear it through your interface, right? If you have your headphones, I'll be getting to that in a second. You'll be able to really make sure you get your levels straight. You also have like a movie, which is a file that you're playing, like when I played this file right here, which was one of my adventures in beat making that I just have ready to go to show certain how this works, right? And then you also have your sound effects and your system audio. Your sound effects is down here. If I was able to hit this DJ horn, you're able to hear things like that. So if you're a gamer or you have somebody coming in and coming out, you can give them applause. Some of this stuff sounds simple and crazy, maybe even cheesy, but it works for making your content dynamic when you're live streaming. Right now over here, you have your camera effects, right? Right here. What's great is you can simply dial in your look, right? So right now I have a LUT lookup table on, I'm shooting a log profile, a very flat profile on my Fuji and sending that feed directly through my HDMI to the computer in the capture card. So without the LUT, it's going to look like this. Dull, needs some saturation, needs some contrast. So if I'm able to select my LUT, bring in my LUT, added some saturation, a little gamma, a little bit more brightness, and that's the look that I got going on right now. You can also, click and you can zoom in, you can zoom out, right? You have all this flexibility. You can even do the green screen look. Not really doing that right now, but you have that as a, an option for you right here. And like I said, all of these things can be done on other applications such as like OBS. But sometimes for beginners, you want things to just work and you want to get a feel of how to do dynamic live streams to your audience. And I love that Ecamm Live makes it very, very simple to set these things up. Now, if I go over here, you'll see you also have comments and reactions. And that's when you actually go live, whether you're going through Facebook, as you're going through YouTube, whatever you're going live from, you'll be able to see your comments and see it flow through Ecamm Live. Now, does Ecamm Live support things like IG Live and some of those other platforms like that? It does not at the time, and you'll have to figure out another way to get Ecamm Live to go directly through, to IG and other things like that. But for Twitch, for, YouTube, for Facebook, it's very, very simple to use Ecamm Live and do everything within that application. Let's go back up to scenes and let me show you how I set some of these up. Right? If you set up a new scene, right, it'll give you the option of how you want to set up a new scene. I set up a new scene as a blank canvas, right? So it's black right now. And it's showing me that I have these options to add to this new scene. So if I wanted to make this an iPhone scene, for instance, and I make sure I click this right here, this little camera button, and now you can see my iPhone, right? Say, for instance, I wanted to use my iPhone as another camera angle. Right? The problem is you see all of this in your feed. You see your all the things, all the overlays that's on the camera app. I looked up and found an application called Shoot. This is an app that basically takes your main camera lens and use it without any overlay. So if I touch on Shoot, you see that there's no video overlays, and you can just see a clean feed from my iPhone. So now I can have a second angle here, right? Now I'm shooting myself, right? What's going on? Now, if I wanted to do a little picture-in-picture, I could come back in here and hit this plus button. Now I have half and half, or I can also click over here and do picture-in-picture. I can drag that around. I can set that up however I want, right? I can switch the angle of which, I could do back and forth. Regardless, you have options. And then you save it how you want, and that's a new scene. I'll call this new iPhone. Go to new iPhone, and that's this scene, right? If I go to my iPad, that's this scene. And what's great is all I had to do was plug in my iPad, plug in my iPhone, and it's picking up the audio, and it's picking up the actual signal of what's going on the screen. So if I wanted to do a tutorial, and I wanted to show you how I graded and did this video tutorial talking about, going live streaming on my mobile phone, I just press play. And basically, you take one end and you can plug it in the mixer, and then you take the other end and you literally can clip it onto yourself. So you're able to hear what's going on my iPad, and you're able to hear me at the same time. And as long as you have a good balance, have a good mix, you'll be able to make sure that you have a dynamic educational tutorial type vibe, or just showing stuff off. If I wanted to show off some music, show off some tracks, go up here, I can go to Cubasis, right? And I'll show you, like I did the other day, right? Playing, can kind of show people what's going on. Now, if that doesn't make it easy for you to think about doing, tutorials, education, master classes, all of these things, I don't know. It's just an option for you. I'm just trying to show you what's going on. Let's talk about these overlays, right? Right here, I got my logo, and I can easily take it off, bring it back in. I can change the sizing of it. Let's say I'm going on a Zoom call, right? And I wanted to make sure I'm branding myself as well. Maybe I'm in a conference. Maybe I'm doing things, and I want to make sure that I'm presenting myself in the best way possible. I'm going to use some of these overlays. And somebody's like, yo, how can I reach you? And then you just boom, at Henny the Business. Or, you can email me at hennythebusiness@gmail.com, right? Literally, all those things really work. Trust. Send me an email, say what's up. And so you can see that you can bring in so much and make everything very simple when it comes to taking it in, taking it out as it relates to you going live and doing things dynamically through your stream. So one of the biggest things I was trying to figure out is, how do I use this software? How do I make this dynamic inside of like a Zoom call, right? We're all on Zoom calls. Some of us are on, doing Skypes and other things. And we want to have these same capabilities during those calls just as much as it is if we were going live to a social media platform or something like that. Let me show you how that works. Ecamm Live has a function called Virtual Cam, right? Virtual Cam is basically a way for it to route its application to another application. And the way you set that up is just go up here to Output, go to Virtual Cam, and it'll ask you if you want to install it. Once you install it, it turns on. And then you see right here, you see this cam, this red cam little overlay. That means that you have virtual cam running, right? So now you have all of these things going. And, if you don't want all of this on your screen, it's giving you all the options to put all of these layers on your screen so you're able to see it. That was just whatever. So now we have virtual cam going. So let's go into Zoom. We go into Zoom. And then we go into Zoom's preferences, and we go to video. Now, it gives me two options. It gives me my cam link option. That's the direct feed coming specifically into Zoom. That's what it would look like if it was just the feed. Now, if I switch to Ecamm Live, you're going to see that. You're going to see the color change. You're going to see me be able to switch my screens. You know what I mean? All within Zoom, as it runs on behind Zoom in Ecamm Live. And so I love that. But the problem was for me, if I wanted to show off and do some tutorials where I need the sound to still come from, my iPad or my iPhone or any other thing coming from Ecamm Live, I need to figure out a solution, because when I go to audio, it's going to ask what I need for the audio's microphone. So this is where you have to set up a virtual mic. Now, full disclaimer, I asked Ecamm Live about this. They sent me over some instructions, and it revolves getting another app. This app is called LoopBack, and it's by a company called Rogue Amoeba. And let me be honest with y'all, it took everything in me to have to purchase this, because not saying that it's not a good app. It does exactly what it needs to do. It's just the price point on this app to be able to do the things that it's able to do to reroute this audio. It's just, to me, it's just too expensive. It's $99 for a license, and I just thought that was entirely too expensive for that type of application. But nonetheless, to be able to show off exactly all of these things that it can do, I had to be able to do that, because without getting a license, every 20 minutes, your audio would start to distort and sound weird, and that's the worst thing you want when you're on a live stream or a Zoom call or whatever. Let me show you how to set up that in LoopBack. So I got LoopBack here, and I'm going to set up, I already have my virtual mic going. I'm going to turn that off, right? And I'm going to set up a new virtual device. Set up a new virtual device, and I'm going to call that Virtual Mic 2. First thing it's going to ask, the first thing it's going to tell me to do is to delete this pass-through function. We don't want that. So right now we have a clean source, and we have output channels, and we have clean monitors, right? So we're going to add running applications, Ecamm Live. So now I have Ecamm Live's audio running to this virtual mic to LoopBack virtual device. The other thing I need to do is add my microphone. So I'll go up here and go to audio devices, and I'll select my AGO3. That's my interface. Now you can see I got my audio running and I got Ecamm Live running. So if I was to do this air horn, you'll see both that I have both the audio from my voice and the audio from Ecamm Live coming and going back into channel 1 and 2. And if I need to monitor that, I can bring it back out to my mixer so I can hear it in my headphones or something like that. So you see I have a whole new route, and it's all set up to go back into something like Zoom. So let's go into Zoom. Go back into preferences. And now if I go to audio, I can look and go to virtual mic 2. As you can see, it's picking up my voice from this mic. It's picking up, there you go. It's picking up the DJ horn or anything coming from my iPad. Let me play something from my iPad. Now I have my microphone. I have my audio set up. I have my video set up from the virtual cam from Ecamm Live. And I'm ready to go. My settings are straight. Now the next time I need a Zoom call, all of those things are going to be happening. And as long as I have everything set up properly, I'm going to have a very, very dynamic Zoom call, Zoom conference, or anything in between. I've used this with Zoom. I've used this with StreamYard. I've used this with a company called Lula.tv. And that's, another thing we can get into when trying to go to IG Live using this whole setup. But all in all, you're seeing that you can do some things and make yourself look so much more professional than everybody else on the call if you take the time and figure these things out and get it set up. Okay, so let's talk about pricing. Let's talk about what is this going to run you and should you invest? Well, the good thing is they have a pro free trial for 14 days. And for anybody looking to get into something like this using Ecamm Live and maybe just trying to start it out, maybe you're like, hey, I got a Canon camera. Let me just try to see if this can work with my laptop and with my, my iMac or something like this. It is only for the Mac, right? Try it out and try to set it up and try to go live, Once you start to figure things out, you start getting your lighting together, right? You start getting your audio and your video looking crispy. People will say, wow, your audio, your video looks so good on these calls. And regardless, just like somebody said before, it's like wearing a good suit to a meeting. People will take notice and people will start to focus in on what you got to say and what you got going on. So, after the 14-day trial, it's a membership-based situation, whether it's $20 a month for the professional all the way down to $12 a month for, I believe, the basic plus. So yeah, there's a lot to choose from. You can look at their website, ecamm.com, and start to figure out if that is something that you want to invest in. I say all this to say, once you get used to this, think about that, right? Think about a $240, $250 year subscription to this service. And what does that mean for your brand? The biggest thing is you can do all of these things seamlessly, simply, and you'll be able to go live a lot more. As you go live, you start building that audience. And even if you're not going live, you can start thinking about tutorials. You can start thinking about master classes, even, as we're coming into these the summer times, these summer camps, these virtual live summer camps, all of these things you can try to start thinking about and putting that to your site and start building up the best way to build your finances on the internet, which is doing passive income strategies. Making something that'll last on your site that people can go back into, subscribe to it, buy it, however you set it up. And from there, you're making money while you sleep. And, the best way to go about it and to get the best results is to invest and have your situation set up so that people will look at you in a professional manner and that most people will say, you know what, I can trust what they got to offer. Maybe I will subscribe to what they got going on. And that's why I wanted to get back into this. This was the case that made me say, you know what, I really want to invest in getting me something like this Mac Mini 2020 and get things set up, because we're here, we're virtual, we're in these quarantine times, things, as much as they're talking about getting better, there's still a lot of cases going on, and we still have to really be practicing social distancing. We still have to be practicing good strategies as it relates to going virtual and doing, virtual dynamic, brand building, right? And so while you're here, you might as well pick up some new talent, some new traits, and going live, I promise you, is a great skill to learn and master. So that's pretty much it. That's Ecamm Live. That's how all of this is set up. And this is what I've been using, and it's been working pretty flawlessly once I had to start figuring out some of the kinks when it came to just making sure everything was set up right. And, I would recommend this to you, and I would really recommend you trying out this 14-day trial and seeing if it works, because when it's free and you can try it for the next 2 weeks, you can start getting it going. If it's something that you really want to dive into, then you can see. But if it's something you really, really want, hit me up in the comments below, and I'll be selecting some winners for a 1-year free subscription with the Pro plan to Ecamm Live. So that's what we're talking about today, just trying to give y'all more solutions to better your brand and better your business while you're online in these quarantine times. Stay safe, keep your family safe, and continue to learn new skills. Check y'all next time. And I'm out!